Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Metcalf and I watch the film so you don't have to. On this video, we're taking a look at Duke's blue-white scrimmage. We're going to run through some instant reactions, biggest takeaways, and it's so good to have college basketball back in our life. Now, obviously, it's just a preseason scrimmage against themselves, so take it all with a grain of salt, but this is a really good opportunity to see how some of the freshmen could potentially be utilized, some of the roles and responsibilities that the team is asking them to execute, and also some of the improvements and growth that the returners have shown in their game. Now, they only played to 33, so it went pretty quick, and we're not going to focus on a single player, but we're going to run through chronologically from start to finish some of the biggest plays that stood out on both sides of the ball. Welcome to film school. Let's dive in. One of the things that immediately stood out with this new Duke team, they got shooters everywhere, and that is really highlighted by Darren Harris's first two possessions. I really liked Harris coming out of high school. He obviously didn't play much uh, as a freshman, but I think he could be in for a big year. And right off the bat here, I love that first possession of the game. They're running an off action or an off screen action for him, so he's lifting out of the corner, running off this pin down as he catches. Immediately identifies the deep drop by Ngongba. Wilkins going over the screen, so he just attacks that space, veers back in, take away that recover angle from Wilkins. Nice little elbow pull up. Easy. Easy as you like. Here we have Cam Boozer operating as more of the primary initiator yet again. I'm really intrigued to see how that role continues to evolve for him because he's going to be in a great spot to do it. So he's running a high pick and roll. Always fun when your power forward / center can run a 4 or 5 pick and roll. As he attacks, Jimenez going over the screen, and Ngongba again in that deep drop. I would expect to see that from him a lot, mostly in exclusively this year. And then we see Wilkins really overhelping off Harris in the corner to take away this drive. And that this is something that Boozer's going to generate a lot of this year is this really aggressive gap help, but he just plays so simple, really within himself. And this is something that Wilkins is going to have to get out of his game. You can't help this aggressively off of strong side corner shooters. In high school, you can get away with it a little bit occasionally. Still don't like it, but you can get away with it more. In college, and definitely at the NBA level, this is a big time no-no, especially when a guy like Darren Harris is in the corner. So Boozer immediately recognizes that. I just look at the aggressive gap help here by all of the perimeter defenders. It's going to be common. And then Boozer's ability to just make the simple, quick read is going to really pay dividends for guys like Harris, Isaiah Evans, even Dame Sarr, Jimenez. They got shooters. They're going to be fine. But I love this immediate no dip release by Harris. And that's fun. That's really, really fun. Let's get on full speed. High pass, no dip, money. If Harris is doing this consistently this year, he could be one of the best shooters in the country. Now, the other shooter who really stood out, Isaiah Evans. Now, we know that Isaiah Evans was a spark plug scorer shooter last year, and things don't look like they've changed. This guy has the greenest light of all green lights in the country, and for a reason. So, little DHO reuses the screen, and that's about all the window that Isaiah Evans needs. I mean, that's pretty solid defense by Caden Boozer, but Isaiah Evans doesn't care because it's like, all right, if I can get the shot off, then I'm open. And at his size, with his length, with his shooting capabilities, he's not wrong. I think Isaiah Evans is one of the sneaky breakout sophomores this year. And the gall to even attempt the shot is a lot of fun. And you better make it because you have a 4v1 transition opportunity here. And I get Cam Boozer's an awesome defender, but he's retreating here. And instead of attacking and dishing off to a teammate, let's just step behind the arc and pull up for three because why not? You better make that shot. And if there's anyone on Duke who's going to make that shot, it's going to be Isaiah Evans. So there's probably going to be a lot of questionable shot selection from him this year, but a lot of it's probably also going to go in. Another standout was Patrick Ngongba, and I'm really hoping that he can stay healthy this year because when he is, God, he's fun. And if he's going to be spacing the floor like this, I don't think he's going to be a big time volume 3-point shooter by any means, but some occasional trail threes, a pick and pop here and there. The shot looks good. Good touch. That would be a really, really fun development for them. Isaiah Evans on ball, and Ngongba and Isaiah Evans in the mix yet again. So I was kind of disappointed in Dame Sarr in this game. He just looked a little hesitant, a little uncomfortable. Not totally shocking. It's his first time playing in front of people in a Duke jersey, to be expected. But we'll see how that continues to develop. I think he'll be fine in the long run. I think Isaiah Evans does a really nice job of getting over the screen here. Sorry, nice little hesitation move, attacks this drop coverage by Ngongba. And, that's a really good driving lane, but Sarr just rushes it a little bit, needs to implement a little bit more craft, a little more creativity. That'll come in time. But Ngongba does a great job of pinning that against the glass, feeding Sarr exactly where he wants him to go. Good help from behind and recover by Isaiah Evans as well. And then just great rim protection by Ngongba. High pick and roll, kicks it back to Boozer, money. This just looked so incredibly comfortable. And Boozer wasn't insane in this game. He just kind of takes what the defense gives him. And in a really condensed setting like this one was, it's not really going to pop, but in totality, in individual games and over a month span and a 2-month and a season span, it's going to be awesome. So I just high pick and roll. Ngongba is showing a little more aggressively because, a couple possessions ago, we just saw Sarr come off a similar thing going to his right, attack downhill. But this is the threat of Boozer, where just simple kickback, right on the money. He's able to hop into it, late closeout by Ngongba. That's going to be money more often than not. Isaiah Evans back doing Isaiah Evans things. This guy's, he could be one of the best shooters in the country this year. A little DHO. Boozer goes under. I love how consistently Evans reused the screen. Whereas like last year, I feel like last year the shot would be going up. He would be pulling right now. But instead this year, at least in the scrimmage, he was a little more patient, a little more selective with his shot selection. Still very aggressive, but a little more nuanced and patient with it. I love how he reuses the screen, gets Boozer back, trying to go back through it. Boozer knows he can't go under twice, and instead of Evans, so the first time Boozer goes under, Evans is still 4 feet behind the line. That's real deep. So I just love the discipline here of saying nope, and then cutting back, reusing that screen, and getting an even more favorable one where his momentum's going into his shot rather than to the side, and he's even more wide open. Money. This one was a really nice post score by Ngongba. So we saw a little bit of his inside-out game. Dance on him, big fella. Really fun footwork here. And the fact that Duke has the tools where they can go 5 out, they can really spread the floor and let their athletes attack downhill, or go a little more traditional and have a big man battle in the post here. Great balance. Really surprised he kept his balance here. No travel. Draws the foul, finishes through the contact. It's just a fun counter that this Duke team has that very, 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 very few teams can even think of. Here we have some fun defense. I like this a lot from Isaiah Evans. Specifically, Dame Sarr kind of rushing things again. Good help block by Ngongba again. But from the start on this play, I really like the communication and awareness from Evans. I think his defense is where we could see a huge jump from him that could make him a much higher first-round pick than we might envision at this point. So right here, as they run this little mesh, great communication by Wilkins and Evans. They switch it off. Evans takes away the cutter. And Sarr, I really like this drive by Sarr. He does a great job. Decisive catch, attacks Wilkins closeout, attacks his momentum, gets baseline, but Evans head up, really aware, playing really good team defense, uses his length, disrupts it, gets the block without fouling. Sarr just rushing things this game, not too worried about it in the long run, but something that needs to be fixed. Loose ball, and then we see Ngongba's really good hands, really good timing. He's not the most explosive athlete, but his timing and his hands is phenomenal on the defensive end. This play I really, really like. I just love the structure of it. Nice little skip pass out of the short roll from Ngongba. Sets up Hemenia in the corner. Hemenia was solid in this game. This was one of maybe his only bucket. But I really like this play from start to finish. So high pick and roll. They're ghosting it. Boozer's playing at the level. They're blitzing Foster. Ngongba just slips it. He has no intention of receiving this pass, but he's trying to get Isaiah Evans free, going to set this cross screen on Caden Boozer to potentially get Foster a little shovel pass and get Isaiah Evans rolling downhill. Darren Harris does a really good job staying attached, taking away that passing lane, and I love how well Caleb Foster is keeping his dribble alive. In this situation, I feel like that is something he didn't do consistently enough in the past, but Boozer does a nice job of staying with Evans. Harris is taking away that passing lane, being really aggressive, getting up into Foster's pocket, and Ngongba recognizes that his ball handler, his point guard's under duress, so instead of just rolling into nothing, he just settles in this zone like we see from tight ends and wide receivers in the NFL, where it's like, all right, my route tells me to continue another 10 yards, but there are defenders over there. Quarterback can't get it to me there, so I'm just going to sit down in the zone here. That's exactly what he does, makes himself available, head immediately on a swivel, sees both help defenders collapsing on him, doesn't force it, finds his elite spot-up shooter teammate in the corner, pass right on the money, easy 3 points, really fun stuff. This one's just awesome. Just all-around play by Cam. And this will be the last one we look at, but from the start here, let's get to it. Good entry pass, and Ngongba's playing patient, kicks it back out to Foster. Love this attack, attacking Sarr's closeout. Again, Sarr wasn't great in this game. He'll be fine long term. Not too worried about it. But really good job by Foster attacking that high foot. Hesitation. Gets rid of Darren Harris. Again, really aggressive gap coverage. I would expect to see a lot of that from Duke this year. A kick out to Hemenia over here would have been nice, but Foster is looking to get a paint touch, gets rid of Harris, and Boozer does a really good job of stepping without overly committing. So it'd be really easy for him to get kind of caught in no man's land here, or really step up too aggressively to Foster, who could then dump it off to Ngongba. But Boozer's in a great stance, high hands, and he's just reading Foster's eyes. As Foster elevates, he's staring down Ngongba. Boozer reads it, high hands, picks it off at high point, and now we're running the other way. And this is where Boozer's ball skills, scoring versatility come into play. Nice little Euro, plants that left foot, gets Hemenia to commit, steps around him, finishes through the traffic. All around, really fun showing from pretty much everyone on Duke. So that was Duke's blue-white game. This Duke team's going to be loaded again, and it's nothing new. They're loaded from top to bottom, especially on the offensive end, where they have so much versatility with bully ball inside, smart passers and playmakers, but also the ability to play a 5-out system with 3 elite shooters and at least 5 good shooters on the court at all times. There's a lot of tools, a lot of versatility on both ends of the floor. The biggest standout and improvement, though, for me, was Isaiah Evans. I just really enjoyed some of the nuances in how he was creating even better looks off ball. I mean, it'd be great if he improved as a playmaker, but that's not who he really is or ever has been as a player. His whole thing is he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot a lot. But I thought he was a little more disciplined with reusing screens and creating better looks out of those situations. It'll be fascinating to see how his offense develops and grows throughout the year, but I thought his defense looked a lot better too. So keep an eye on him. He could be a really sneaky first rounder. I thought he could have been a sneaky first rounder last year, but fun tools, great physical tools, exactly what you kind of want from an NBA shooting guard or off-ball guard. And my biggest question with this Duke team is, what does the defense look like? A lot of time to improve, but some lapses, some inconsistencies, and they don't have like a traditional big time rim protector. And Ngongba's hands and timing are fantastic, as are Boozer's, but they're not the most explosive athletes. So I'm really curious to see how that continues to develop for them. It's going to be a really fun year. Hope you enjoyed Duke scrimmage.